just like froze for a second. He seems lost. You know, he seems lost in this moment. He seems sad. Haven't heard a word from him. I saw his coach. His coach is wearing his own, like, representing his own boxing club. I'm like, who are you here for, man? I was like, Paco, I want to fight you next. He's like, next time you should call out a real boxer. And he gets all mad and like was like wanting to fight me in the back hallway. I'm like I'm in his head. I'm in their heads. Like that simple. He just doesn't. This is all new to him. But he asked for this. You know, that's why I don't feel bad at all. He asked for this. Like, he's the one that called me out. He's the one that said I hadn't fought an athlete. And I think it's been a rude wake-up call for him. I think the nerves are setting in because there's no, like, if you've stepped in the ring before, you know that there is no other sport like this, and you can't train for that. You have to experience it.
Do you think people are overplaying his previous athletic experience? Because, like you say, when you get into a boxing ring, you can still, as soon as you get punched, you can have the adrenaline dump. It's a unique experience, right? So do you think his previous experience is sort of being built up too much?
I think so. You know, I think it'll help him for sure. He's definitely athletic, right? But how much does being an athlete help in boxing if it's your first fight? I think that type of stuff helps when you're super, super experienced. And I think for sure his athletic ability has been overplayed, and I think mine's been underplayed. People forget that I've had over 200 wrestling matches, Division I in Ohio. People forget that I was an all-star running back. People don't like mention those things, you know. And I'm only 23; he's 36, so I'm peaking, and he's coming out of retirement.
What's good, YouTube fight fans all over the world? It's your boy Real Talk Boxing, and I'm back at you again. Yes, I am talking about Jake Paul and Nate Robinson again, because I am becoming more and more intrigued with this matchup, with this fight. I'm almost as excited to see this fight as I am Roy Jones versus Mike Tyson. You heard Jake Paul. He was asked, are they overplaying the fact that he is a former professional athlete, professional basketball player? Are they like just giving him too much credit for that? Do they really think that that's going to help him in the fight against you? And you heard what Jake said, and I agree 100% with everything Jake says. He says they're overplaying that, but they're downplaying my athleticism. How soon do you forget that I used to wrestle? I used to play football. I'm an athlete also. I may not be a professional athlete, but I'm an athlete also. Listen, people, I've had a lot of people in my comments say, you know, Jake Paul hasn't faced anybody like Nate Robinson, a former professional NBA player, yada, yada, yada. He's fighting a grown man. He's going to be getting hit by a grown man. Listen, I'm going to try to explain this as thoroughly as possible for those who really don't understand the difference between one sport from another. Okay, they're both fairly new. More so, Nate Robinson. He's a baby and very green in the boxing game. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a difference between training, sparring, and being under the lights. Now I know what you're going to say. What do you mean? He's been under the lights. You know, he's been under the lights in front of hundreds and thousands of people when he's playing professional basketball. Well, that's professional basketball. When he's playing professional basketball, is anybody punching him in the mouth? You know, is anyone jabbing him in the shoulders, punching him in the shoulders, punching him in the body, leaning on him, chasing him down in his chest, hitting him anywhere that they can possibly hit him? Has he ever had that happen under the lights? No, it's totally different. It is totally different. I am not downplaying the fact that he is a professional or was a professional athlete, and that may help him a little bit, but that doesn't mean that he's going to beat Jake Paul. Jake Paul's been doing it longer, and Jake Paul has been under the lights. He has that experience. I'm telling you right now, when they step in that ring and the bell rings and they start getting physical when the rubber meets the road, and I may be wrong, but I feel so positive that Nate Diaz is going to be looking around like, what in the boop did I get myself into? I really believe that. Y'all got to understand something, man. Just because you are good or a professional of another sport doesn't mean you're going to be good in boxing. I got a quick story to tell you. True story. If you don't believe it, the show problem. I was 21 years old. 22, maybe. And I was living in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the time. I was 21, excuse me. Living in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the time. I came back home to Texas to visit. I used to come home every year for a week to visit to Texas when I was living in Grand Rapids. In 2000, I fought in the Golden Gloves in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Okay, so I had that experience and some training experience at the Blues Gym in Grand Rapids. I have a best friend, one of my best friends. His little brother, or should I say little big brother, by the name of Big Ben Harris, is about 6'2". 6'2", and at the time I was 21, so he was probably 18. And the kid was 255 pounds. Okay? And he was playing college football at the time. A defensive end. You hear me? This is one of my best friend's baby brother. I always carried gloves around with me. I had two pair of boxing gloves just in case somebody wanted to get down. That's what I did. We were all in my brother's house. He got to talking trash, yada yada yada. You too short, you too small. I'll knock your block off. That's all I needed to hear. Okay, then strap up. Let's go get the gloves. Everybody's like, Brian, you crazy. Don't do it, real talk. I'm like, nah, I'll be just fine. I said we're gonna do three-minute rounds. Anything goes. Alright? But no elbows, no knees, no nothing. We just boxing, right? The bell rung, he went crazy. He was throwing shots from all kind of crazy angles. He's really, really long, really, really tall, and really big and strong. So all I did was get in close and muffle those shots. So all he was catching me with was forearm and on the inside of his the pit of his arm. That's all he was catching me with. I felt the power and the momentum, but he wasn't hurting me. And he did that for about 35 seconds. And guess what? He gassed out. He got tired. We're talking about a college football player, 18 years old, defensive end. You hear me? 6'2", 250, 255 pounds. And at the time I was probably 200, maybe 195, 5'8". He gassed out. And in the second round, I dropped him with a body shot, and he did not give up. He did not get up, excuse me. That was it. That was it. Now here I am, I'm just boxing. Yeah, I played football all through high school. I was always an athlete in high school. But this guy was a specimen. But he had no idea how to box. He had no idea how to control his aggression. He had no idea how to control his breathing. And he didn't know what it was to take shots. He thought I was just going to stand there and not throw heat back at him. But I did. Moral of the story is, just because you're great at one sport doesn't mean you're going to be great at boxing. It's totally different. You heard what they said. And that's not all Jake said. Jake said, listen, after this, we're looking at KSI. And we also looking at Conor McGregor. I want to knock out Conor McGregor's best friend. And then I want to fight Conor McGregor. And I believe that fight is going to happen. And I'm going to watch that fight. Then you can say Jake Paul will be in for maybe the fight of his life. Then I believe Jake will be an underdog. And if he beats Conor McGregor, if that fight should happen, that would be crazy. But I'll be there to watch it. Well, not physically there, but I'll be watching it here on TV. Definitely. People out there, listen. If you're a fan of Nate Robinson, I don't blame you. He's a really, really nice guy. Really humble, soft-spoken. And he says that Jake Paul needs a piece of humble pie. And I would love to be the one to serve it to him. But I just don't think he has what it takes. Because when he gets under those lights and he gets punched in the mouth, things are going to change. It's boxing, not professional basketball. Okay? There is a difference. Total difference. I got Jake Paul winning this fight. Easy. But I may be wrong. And if I am wrong, I'll eat crow. and you'll see me doing a video about it. Because I'll be just as surprised as a lot of people around the whole freaking nation. I'll be checking it out, and I'll still be talking about it. As always, respect all, fear none, God bless. Leave your comment below. Let me know what you think about this whole thing. Yeah, buddy. Tomorrow night it's on. Peace.